Okay, let's start this motherfucker, eh? Oh, that was very Wisconsin of me.
It's Canadian.
I think we should actually start the podcast with that.
All right, welcome to another Wicker Biscuit.
Welcome.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Great.
All right, as always, let's start out with some introductions. Can we start over here?
Possibly. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Ryan. I'm the only one not cracking up right now.
This is Carl.
All right, and on Zoom we got
Courtney.
and who?
Oh, hey there. This is Leah.
Well, hey there.
Oh, hi there. Oh, hey there.
Hey there, hi there.
Well, let's open this up to a little chit chat, guys. How's it going, everyone?
Pretty good.
Good. So, what y'all been up to?
I almost died today.
No.
Not literally.
Oh, okay, good.
But I was, so I've been having a bit of a Heather's party in my car. So I got a bee in my bonnet that I needed all the Heather's soundtracks.
Sure.
The score from the movie and then the 2 musical albums that are out. And so I've been learning all the songs and I'm singing, and I was driving somewhat long distance today, not super long, but I was listening to Martha Dump Truck's song before she attempts to commit suicide. And it was a really pretty song, and I've heard it in the last couple of days, but today it was making me all weepy, and I'm like, it's so pretty, it's such a good song. And then I couldn't wipe my eye with my sleeve because I had snot on it.
Oh,
so
sure.
I had to wipe my right eye with my left sleeve, and then I thought, Ryan, you're going to crash your car and die listening to this sad song, and nobody needs that.
Wow.
Just let your eyes be wet. It'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I say that was a smart idea.
It was more comical than really. I was just because I was fine, but it was I could veer off the road. I don't know.
No, but we're glad you didn't.
Yes.
No, we like to have
What
you
year
around.
did that movie come out, Ryan? I know you know right
It's
away.
88, but 89.
Christian Slater was my sexual awakening in that movie.
You
it was amazing.
You and Buffy
So
Summers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And his sister was Supergirl, so.
Oh.
But Courtney, if you really unpack that,
I didn't
that
think Christian
character-
Slater was that attractive until he hit 40.
Really?
He's good looking now.
but yeah, Christian Slater at 40 is what you're saying?
That's when I thought he started to look really good.
Oh, no, I thought he was so hot in Heathers.
I think the character is so disturbing. I don't know that I could find him that attractive.
He's cuter in the musical. You feel worse for him in that one. I could do a whole podcast about Heathers, but we won't do that today.
No.
How was anyone else's day?
It's kind of quiet at work right now. It's the off season, so it's nice. I think everyone's just learning new stuff. And
Carl's a football player, and they
Yep.
just finished for the
Yeah.
year.
You know it.
That's a joke, people.
That's all right.
Sorry, listeners. I don't mean to confuse.
But no, it's good. It was a good day. We're playing the is it too hot or cold in the office, because that's what you do in Wisconsin.
When it's unseasonably warm.
Yeah. It's one of those, the difference between 69 and 71 and maybe
You turn around. Oh.
Yeah.
Exactly. Courtney gets it.
No, for real. Because I'm outside a lot, and I'll have my coat on, and I'll be kind of warm, but I get to the other side of the building where the sun isn't, and it's oh, I'm so glad I have my coat on. It's freezing over here.
But what Courtney's saying is, a 69, a 71 is more spooning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
definitely.
I thought she was talking about turning around outside.
No,
with the
she's
weather.
talking about turning around sexual positions.
Well, ignore what I said then.
No. Your comment's fine.
It didn't make any sense, though.
You were making ours more work appropriate. But yes, I think so. That was kind of fun today because basically my co-manager and I just kind of bump it up and bump it back down.
But whenever Carl bumps it up,
bumping.
when Carl bumps it up, he always turns into Whitney Houston. Bump it up, bump it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the rule.
All right. Why don't we just jump into the main biscuit? We ready to start then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So today's episode, we are going over Wisconsin-isms, just little things that we love about Wisconsin. Now, we've mentioned it in several pods, but we're recording in Wisconsin. Most of us are
In an undisclosed location.
in an undisclosed location. Yes, we're not telling you where it is. But all of us are born and raised here, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Carl was hatched, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
okay. Yeah. So we're just unreasonably proud of being from Wisconsin and just crazy obsessed with how awesome this state is. And we just want to share it with the world.
Not in a like arrogant, horrible way.
No, absolutely.
Not like Texas.
Well, everything's bigger there.
Yeah.
Untrue.
You know, Carl's seen her dick pic.
It's taken a few too.
Did I take any in Texas though?
I don't know.
I should have. It's bigger in Texas.
They would have been bigger. So this is just, we're going to start out just going over some basic Wisconsin-isms, things that we take for granted that people from other states just don't get. So let's dive on in.
Let's dive on into Wisconsin life. Dum-dum-dum.
First up, we have an article that I'm going to be pulling from that's the most Wisconsin things Wisconsinites say. So first they reference on...
Oh.
If you have a baby, it's common to be like, congrats on the new baby. Did you put them on the Packer season ticket list yet? And this is something that we all think about, but others don't. Because the Packer season ticket list is like, what, a 40-year wait? 50-year wait? So what people commonly will do is when their kid's born, they'll put them on the waiting list. And then hopefully by the time they're 40 or 50, they can actually get Packer tickets.
I think it's interesting.
I actually had never heard of that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, our kid was born in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So you spent some time
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
There is 147,000 names on the wait list.
Mhm.
Fans at the top of the list have been waiting decades.
Right, and that's what gets me, because like you'll watch the NFL games and other places will have empty seats, or they'll be talking about tickets for sale, or we're gonna have a blackout because they're not sold out. And it's like the Packers are literally sold out for 40 fucking years.
I think it's wild, just the culture of the Packers in Wisconsin. I think it's fascinating to me that not everyone's like an NFL fan, not everyone's a Packer fan,
Hey, that's me.
but like it really is when the Packers are on, no matter if it's like a losing season, you can drive through town and it's you'd think it was like Christmas. It's just the quietest on the roads.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people out and about. And yeah, it's Sunday, but like it just has that air of
yeah. There's definitely a difference in traffic. Traffic levels are different. Everything feels different. Yeah, totally.
I don't want to brag, but Courtney was in the Rice Lake Warrior Marching Band, high school, and we played the halftime show twice.
Hot
Wow.
On the field. Yeah,
You got to be on the field.
on the fucking field.
Yeah, you can't touch that grass
Oh,
without permission.
it was amazing. And we actually got to like sit like on like the edge of the field, like our whole little marching band. It was great.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up. Amanda got to be on the field once for like weren't you in a marathon that was there?
Oh, our child had they had a 1K race for kids. So our child was like 3 and we didn't get to go on the field. You could run around the field, but you do not touch the field.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which our kiddo was like, why can't I go touch the grass? And like, no, we're going to get kicked out. But yeah, it was intense. And once I did a Spartan race there, which...
Yeah, I remember the Spartan one. You didn't get to go on the field for that?
Oh, no. Okay. No, you got to climb all the freaking stairs and they had all kinds of obstacles and shit that I couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
But no, there was nothing on the field. I'm
gonna break and tell a story from the Spartan race. So when Amanda was done with it, I wasn't involved with it with her. She did it with another friend, but I picked them up afterwards, and she was telling me this whole story about this. I'm putting this in air quotes because she's like, this poor guy that was behind me, he got stuck with my butt in his face, and I say to her, I'm like, Amanda, of all of the butts in this stadium that could have been in his face, the one that was in his face is the one that could not fart in his face because you have a stoma.
Well, that's what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, he doesn't even know how lucky he is.
Right.
That there is no possible way that I can fart at him. So he doesn't know, but he's lucky. And I kind of want to tell him, but like, this is awkward.
Yep.
And I'm not going to turn around and tell him.
Yeah. And then, wasn't it right after the Spartan race, we went to Kroll's right across the street?
Mm-hmm.
Good times. Oh, man.
That's
times.
some good chicken and some good chili.
Oh, yeah. Kroll's is the best. If you ever get a chance, go there.
It has not ever been remodeled. So it is.
Oh, yeah. It's like a time capsule. It's so
Yeah.
fun.
It is.
Yeah.
You're walking right into the 70s.
That's the appeal, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
All right. Next up, we got, I have to stop by the nearest time machine to get some cash. I grew up saying this because all of the ATMs were the brand Time, spelled Tyme.
Take your money everywhere.
And I
Oh my
didn't,
God, that's what that means?
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
know
realize that was like a Midwest thing.
Yeah, it was Wisconsin.
It's not
based.
even a Midwest thing because my college roommate is from Minnesota, and I had said like, "Oh, I need to stop at the time machine," and she's like, "What?"
Right.
And I'm like, "The time machine. I have to go get money.
Yeah.
I need to go to the time machine." And
was-
she's just like, "Do you realize what you're saying?" And I'm like,
No,
What?
I have no idea.
"Like the place where I get money." She's like,
Right.
"It's an ATM." I'm like,
Well, it is an
"Or
ATM. They're
it
not
says
wrong, but
time
no,
on it."
I grew up with my parents calling it that, so I
Yeah.
didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, a handful of banks in Milwaukee just came up with it in the 70s, and it stuck. And then I was reading the article the other day about it, because I think in the fall of 2022, one of the smaller credit unions in the Milwaukee area revived the name, but they had to buy it from like Discover Financial, who owns Pulse and all that stuff.
That's too bad.
But it's the licensing agreement, so
Sure.
there are actually some ATMs in the Milwaukee area that have Time Machine on them again,
cool.
which is really cool.
Yeah, I wish they'd bring it back. I like that.
Yeah, I think it was a cool name.
Yeah. Any other time?
Oh.
No. Okay. All right. Next up, we got, I hate it when the Cubs come to town and Fibs take over Miller Park. So I know what Fibs are. It stands for fucking Illinois bastards. But it's not something, I don't know, where we grew up, it was more like Vikings and Twins.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, Carl, you were going to say
Well,
something?
and that's, I mean, for me, where I grew up,
Yeah.
you know, I grew up in Racine, so south of Milwaukee. And I don't think like we meant it ever really that much in a negative. I mean, obviously it has that kind of fun jabby, but it's funny when you're down there, it's just like here, you know, we're in Wisconsin going the speed limit, and all of a sudden, zoom, this
Yep.
like Illinois plated car comes past you. I think
Yeah, ours was up here. It was usually more like because of that stuff, not because of the Cubs.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I think it was
don't drive.
when I was a kid, we had one of the dog tracks, which thank heavens those are going by the wayside in our era. But we had one of the dog tracks down there, and there was signs, billboards when I was a kid that was talking about how the Greyhounds were faster than a car with Illinois plates. And I always thought it's so cool because you see this big billboard with a Greyhound on it.
Mhm.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
But like even living in that area, I mean, you work and play just like we do here in Western Wisconsin. Like we're close to the border, so
Yeah.
you're doing stuff in the other state. And when you go down to Illinois, you're paying tolls. And that
Yep.
was always the biggest thing
Yeah.
is you try to navigate like 2-lane highways to make sure you didn't have to pay the tolls.
Mhm.
But everything takes so long to get to then.
Yeah.
There is a train, which actually, when we're talking about, you know, how we'd love to have rail across Wisconsin eventually, but it's just not that accessible. It's not like that common that people hop on the train and go to Chicago.
Right.
But I think there's that, you know, I think our generation has changed this kind of fib thing into a better connotation, because I think there's a lot more people that have relationships and employers and schooling that are like across the border.
Right.
But I think it's just, it's interesting that we have such a strong like rivalry with that state. We have kind of that friendly one with Minnesota, and the UP of Michigan's pretty much ours, right? Like they're Wisconsinites.
Yeah, I suppose. But I will tell you that I've had plenty of times where I'm like, oh, fucking Upers.
Really?
You-
I
but
feel
you-
like in our neck of the woods, it's those mud ducks. The good old Minnesota rivalry with, yeah.
No, totally. Yeah, we definitely got that over here. But when I was over in Green Bay, and it's not that we didn't like the Upers, but like sometimes they'd come and they'd have like a really fucking thick Uper accent, and we're like, Jesus Christ.
Actually, I think you were more like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep. But all right, next up, I need a drink. Where's the bubbler? Now, the person who put this on, they must be on the other side of the state, because that's a regional thing.
This is always the trouble with anything, even weather related, when people are like, oh, the weather in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like a huge state, but we're not a tiny state,
No.
you know?
Right.
And with multiple regions, like where I grew up, we had bubblers. Like
Right.
that's what it was.
Yep.
But I think it's because the company had that style,
Right. It was a brand by Kohler, right?
and like a
Yes.
lot of them
Yeah.
were like center, so they bubbled out like a fountain.
Yes. So I know. So you did call it a bubbler growing up,
Yeah.
Carl, Amanda.
I also called it a bubbler, and it was all bubblers.
Yep.
It did not matter what type of
So
style.
that's like the eastern side of the state, and that's where
Yeah.
Kohler's based.
But
Yeah.
now,
I didn't even know bubbler until this girl named moved to our school in 3rd grade, and our teacher was like, she's from I don't remember where. I'm like,
Mhm.
they call it a bubbler. I'm like, oh, okay.
That could be a fun fact. When you have like icebreakers. Well, I grew up calling it a bubbler.
yeah, I just called it either a drinking fountain or a water fountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, but then people get upset about like water fountain. Like a water fountain's outside, and that's like the,
Mhm.
the
No,
fountain
I
that's
get it.
decorative.
Hence, right, that can be confusing. So that I do
But
get.
you could take a drink out of that too. That might have some change in it.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they put a little chlorine in it, but that helps things out, right? Courtney, how was it in the Northwoods?
I don't think we did water fountain or bubbler. It was always drinking fountain. Definitely.
Yeah, drinking fountain.
Mhm.
And Leah, you were with me in Rye Pie, so for you it was the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water fountain, drinking fountain.
Gary, do you remember at Sam Davy, like the upstairs drinking fountains? Like they were the ones that were you had to put your head in the wall.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they,
Yeah.
they're like dug out.
It was
and
like this porcelain thing that was
Yeah.
set into the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's what they were
We
in
had
my
that
gym.
I hacked up a piece of bratwurst in that once.
Ooh.
Because I had a cold and I was like coughing and coughing and coughing and coughing, and my teacher's like, "Do you want to go get a drink?" I'm like, "Okay." So while I'm drinking the water, I cough and I and like, and then the thing that's so funny is, and this is how a 3rd grade brain works. I was like, "Oh no, Gary the janitor's going to have to pick that out with his hands."
Gross.
I
It is
felt
pretty
so
gross.
bad.
I think it's pretty much all the schools built like right after the war, so late 40s, 50s that had those.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And now kids are spoiled, and they all have the things that you put the water bottle, and it fills up your water bottle. Do you know how
Well-
much water I drank when I was a kid?
Yeah.
How much
Not
you
enough.
could not
Right?
enough.
No, not enough.
How
Like
much you
ever?
could lap up out
We-
of the porcelain.
Gary and I did in 4th grade though.
Actually, yeah,
we were
did.
well hydrated because we had a teacher come in the middle of the year. Like our teacher left to do this other project, so we had this long-term sub, and everybody
Mhm.
hated her. But she let us have snacks and water as long as
she
it was water
progressive.
and healthy food. You could have
Had
I
of
snacks.
her
think she
time.
had to do it to bribe us
I
because she
think
was
she did.
already. It was an uphill battle.
I think so, but
Yeah.
it worked because I liked having my little.
It did.
I
It
had
worked for some of us.
a little Tupperware water bottle.
didn't-
It had like the little
oh,
like
I
you
had a
flip the straw
Tupperware
thing
one
up.
too.
We had one of those too.
And I would ration my water because you only had so many times that you could like, okay, well now the class is gonna go to the bathroom. Like, oh, I can fill up my water then.
Mhm.
So I like it had measurements on it. And I'd be like, I can't drink any more than this until 2:00. And if it goes below that, then at 3 I can go get more. Like I had to like ration my
Oh.
water.
You had a lot going on in your brain. I'm telling you. From
I just didn't want to be
Sauce.
out and be thirsty and be like, oh, I don't have any more water. Dang.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm impulsive. I would have drank all of it.
I remember there was a debate once
I'm
because
thirsty.
somebody brought trail mix, which was counted as a healthy snack, but there was M&Ms in it.
Ooh.
So then they're like, that's not a healthy snack, but it was allowed. So then it was like, ooh.
And- Relating back to the Wisconsin thing, do you remember when we learned about the different types of cheese and she brought in all sorts of cheese and we got to try it?
Oh, yeah.
It was also for math and it was graphs
Mhm.
because we voted on what ones we liked the best.
Actually, there was another thing, too, where I don't remember where we went, but after she brought in the cheese, there was another cheese thing for some event, and they had Munster, and the lady's like, here, try this. And a bunch of the kids that were in that class were like, we don't like Munster. And she's like, no, try it. And we tried it, and we're like, this is good. She's like, yeah, because it has to be good quality, and it has to be served at room temperature. Your teacher didn't know. And I'm like, ooh, way to throw some shade at her. That's fun.
Wow. That's some serious
Oh, this
cheese now.
This
For
gal
our-
was serious about cheese.
For our longtime listeners, that's the same teacher that we talked about in an earlier episode having a mothball sweater.
Yes, that's Mothball McGee.
Well, I was thinking about the water thing. Like, we're pretty fortunate to have, I mean, obviously 2 Great Lakes and rivers and a lot of springs. I mean, and just the natural water tablet, but it's pretty amazing, the access to water. I think that's something I talk about a lot when I tell people, like, what's one great thing about living here? I think that's really important.
So I have here, I'm not going to read it word for word, but they're referencing the stop and go light. they never call that in our area, but I know Courtney's referenced it. So Courtney, could I
Oh
have
my gosh, yes. You go right there to Cameron at the stop and go lights, and then you turn left and you head on over there to Weyerhaeuser. Yes.
So fill us in. Did people actually
Absolutely.
call it that where you were from?
Hell yeah. You only have one set of stop and go lights. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that was not a thing in Eau Claire.
I think we just called them the traffic lights.
Yeah, we called them traffic lights.
Yeah.
Or we would sometimes call them stoplights.
Yeah.
But
I think
never
so.
stop and go.
That's part of the Wisconsin thing. I think that a lot of people underestimate, having almost a dozen decent size urban areas mixed in with so many rural areas. Like pretty much you drive 15, 20 minutes from a city and you're in a pretty rural area. So the culture of that can change pretty fast.
Indeed. Anything else on the stop and go lights, or should we go to the next guy?
We should go right past it if there's only one. I mean,
Actually, Shatek doesn't even have any.
We had one on the way out of town, and then they got rid of it.
Yeah.
And then it was like, we don't even have any anymore.
Yeah.
Not even on the outskirts. That's at the next town.
So next up, I've got something that's more of just a topic, general ideas. It's not like sayings, but first up is brat. So I admit, I took this for granted. I didn't really realize until when I was older and people came from other states, when we talk about having a brat, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And show it to them. They were like, this is like a sausage. I'm like, well, yeah, it is a sausage, but it's short for bratwurst, and it's a German style sausage. But just completely take it for
describe
how?
it in that sentence absolutely disgustingly. Like what it means in Wisconsin: a tube of tender meat. Ugh.
Often
That's
cooked
terrible.
in beer
No one
and
says
grilled.
that.
Well,
I think the biggest thing is the German migration, even within our
Right.
country.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
But it's true though, because there's that episode of Facts of Life where they're making bratwurst and they say bratwurst like the whole episode. I'm like, nobody says bratwurst.
Right.
Those New Yorkers. Oh, Californians pretending to be New Yorkers.
But
let's be honest.
When Amanda and I, right after we were married, we would host baseball players. They were coming from all around the state.
Yeah.
And they'd serve
you
brats.
The country, not the state.
Yeah, they'd come from all around the country. And yes, we did.
Yeah.
These kids were in college.
Yeah, we weren't that much older
And
than
we
them.
were-
I know it's kind of
Just
crazy to
'cause
think
we were
about.
Because we were
22.
like 22 and they
Yeah.
were like 18.
Yeah.
If not
So-
older.
Anyway, but they're coming in. And of course, because it's at a ballpark, there's always brats. And they're like, what the fuck are these brats? And I'm just like floored. Like, how do you not know what a brat is? Considering in this state, you go to the goddamn grocery store and there's a brat
Brat
wagon
stand.
outside.
Yeah.
You make a lot of money with that.
Yeah, but yeah, and then also we went to a baseball game out in New York, and I think they had hot dogs, of course,
Yeah, they
but
didn't
there
have
were no
brats.
brats, and I'm like,
No.
what? It threw me.
It is weird. But even when you go to the Twins game, it's not like they have brats.
Oh my god, they
Oh.
don't?
No.
I didn't even.
no, they have like the regular hot dog and they have like the jumbo dog.
The
It's like,
jumbo
oh,
dog.
I suppose
That's
hot dog.
not a
The old
brat.
dome dog, yeah.
Don't
Oh
know.
my heavens.
They could at least have a fucking pronto pup, those sons of bitches. Right?
But I think that's part of it. It's weird that it's very specific to Wisconsin in that sense.
Because I will say this with our Minnesota brothers, we shit on them, but I kind of put it this way to someone. They're like, because they were like, I don't get it. You guys shit on Minnesota, but you like them. I'm like, pretend we're siblings and we bicker. But if Alabama ever started some shit, we would have Minnesota's back.
I think we always want better for each other too.
Yeah.
We always want,
Yeah, and I want them to have brats at their concession
Well,
stands.
here's my thing. So, as much as I will give them shit, they got it down with the pronto pups.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah. So
I think what I like
fucking
about the brat is it contains its own heat. It stays hot.
sure,
It's
Mhm.
an amazing
Just
meat.
like you.
just like Carl.
Carl runs warm.
That's
It's
why I put
always-
Carl on a bun, hun. I got one person to laugh.
I was on a bun.
Carl's on a bun. Any more banter
Carl
on
was a
brats? Yeah, he was.
I crave a brat once or twice a year.
Ah, okay. One thing they had on here, which I'm actually going to disagree with, but they had on pop. So their statement is in the pop versus soda, Wisconsin is a pop state. I disagree. I say Wisconsin's actually a soda state, except in Eau Claire area, Pop bleeds in from Minnesota.
It says pop for the western half of Wisconsin.
I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, well, they are right next to you.
But then I can't look at you guys.
Oh, well,
I
know,
think-
teach their own.
I think it's probably used. Ryan and I always say pretty interchangeably. Like
I've always said both. It's
Yeah.
never been an issue in
No,
my
I know.
household. And I actually usually say sody.
Oh, yeah.
so sody pop sometimes. Like it's kind of that.
I grew up saying pop, and then I moved over to Green Bay, switched to soda, and then when I came back, I just never switched back
Why?
again.
My thought is like you say soda fountain.
Yeah,
That's literally what it's called. No one says, oh, I worked at a drugstore in the 40s and I worked at the pop fountain.
right.
But my thing is, if I know what you're talking about, I don't care what you call it.
Can
That's
we
true.
agree that we don't call them soft drinks?
I do if it's the 60s. Because when I was a kid and I was watching 60s Batman and Barbara Gordon says, can I offer any of you a soft drink? And I remember asking my mom, what does that mean? And she was like, well, like a soda pop. And I was like, but doesn't that kind of burn your throat? Because when you're little, soda's
Right.
a little... And she
So
goes, well, no,
spicy.
because it's not hard liquor, so it's a soft drink. I'm like, okay, I
That
guess
kinda
that
makes
makes
me-
sense.
That
None
makes
of
me-
that made sense. To
That
me.
makes me think of like a restaurant with a tablecloth. Like
Yeah.
we have tea, coffee, soft
Soft
drinks.
I
I
just
wanna-
think of soft drinks and I have like an image of a fluffy blanket and a pillow and like a beverage in there,
Yeah.
and it's very confusing.
You don't
We
want
need
this
It's very-
caffeinated beverage.
We
It's
need to
very
make that a
literal.
picture for the social media.
Well, I was actually just thinking, I want to do a sketch someday where we have a lady who like looks like she's from the 60s, and she's like, anyone for a flaccid beverage? Like, a what? A flaccid beverage, you know. A flaccid beverage.
Did you just get a thesaurus, Pam?
Pam and her fucking...
She just wanted to add to the ambiance.
I love you scrolling through these because some of them are so funny to me. I think it's important to have a polka section at most functions. Like it is
I
fun.
thought that, so my grandparents owned, well, I've talked about this. My grandparents owned a tavern, and part of their tavern, they had like a dance hall attached. And my grandparents met at a dance, and they all polka danced.
Yeah.
And my mom never taught us to polka dance. Like, she did try a couple times, and I was very confused, and I had no idea what the hell she was doing with her feet. But she would get so mad because for pep band, we'd always play Beer Barrel Polka. And she's like, all of you kids, you don't know how to polka. You just hop back and forth, and that's not polka dancing. And I'm like, well, what do you mean it's not? And she's like, this is what you're supposed to do. And she'd try to teach me, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. I'm just going to continue to do what I'm
Mhm.
doing. But anyway, so that's one thing where my mom is very Wisconsin. And then second, like when I was little, so my grandparents had like a little clock radio in their kitchen, and sometimes it would go like it would be on, and it was always a polka station. And I'm like, why do grandma and grandpa only ever listen to polka? Because I just thought it was ridiculous. And my mom's like, oh, grandpa only thinks that there's polka stations. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
And I believed her.
almost-
Like, I just thought that was the only music they knew existed, and that was that.
Last year, I almost died when my son joined a polka band.
Oh,
that
that's
was
so cool.
amazing.
It was really good.
It actually ended up being actually pretty cool.
And he played the Beer
Gary
Barrel
and Amanda were
Polka.
there.
I videotaped it.
Uh-huh. There's a lot of to the pause, but
Mhm.
yeah.
He and I played the same trombone part for the Beer Barrel
Yes.
Polka. The trombones didn't get to dance.
What were you saying?
No.
I don't remember what I was going
Oh,
to say.
sorry.
Oh,
No, it's apparently poking in my mind.
That's perfect. I hope you were doing it the right way, not
Apparently.
the way that gets
I mean,
real mad
part of
about.
it is like I love that it's something that you can do at the old-fashioned barn dance,
Mhm.
or you can do it in a tavern,
We did. Oh no, we learned
or you
square
can
dancing.
do it at a sports
in
game,
Fayette.
like, or you can do it at a formal function.
Mhm.
I think it's just a fun, like, I think it's one of those things most people.
Well, because there's always polka music at a lot of wedding receptions.
Oh, now I
Did we
remember.
have polka?
well, at some of the smaller county fairs too, there'll be like
Yeah.
a polka stage.
Well, and I was going to say I did remember what I was going to
Good.
say.
Let's hear it.
Until the last couple of years, one of the local country music stations in the morning after the farm report
Mhm.
had polka for the first couple hours of the day.
Oh, I used to listen
Yeah.
to that on my commute
Yeah.
because I'd be like, "Oh, hi, Grandma and Grandpa,"
There's
I
something
listened to
kind of
polka.
quaint about it.
So I would listen to the polka music,
And it
and then
was
I'd tell
fun.
my mom.
They'd always talk about who the artist was, and I thought it was so cool. It really was.
Well, I have like great aunts and uncles or something. Apparently, they had like a pretty big polka band, and there's like really cute pictures of them. Like they had their little saxophone and like their country
Yeah.
western get up and stuff. And I'm like, oh,
I think
look at you guys.
If you go in a lot of museums in Wisconsin, a lot of the big bands in Wisconsin had pretty much a polka element.
Right. There's a well,
But
and
that's
if
pretty
you
cool.
know like the lyrics to some of the polkas, like my mom
They're
would sing it, and
sassy.
I'm like, what the hell is this?
It was just a bunch of drunkards, more or
Yeah.
less.
This is probably the most Wisconsin thing I could say other than the stop and go lights, but my mom was a Moose Club member, and they had a polka band called the Kitchen Band, where she played the accordion, and then the other ladies just played an assortment of pots and pans, and
That's amazing.
like, but they were pretty fancy. They were.
Did somebody have a washboard though?
Yes.
Even though it
yes.
doesn't
A
really go.
washboard stomach.
Ooh.
Can someone play the spoons?
I'm actually
Yes.
pretty wicked at the spoons.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
My mom actually played the accordion.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When my mom died, she had like 8 or 9 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, she was really into accordion, which is super cool.
No, that is cool.
Actually, no, it really wasn't, because when I was
Oh, it
10,
is
she
too.
decided that I was going to start polka band lessons and learn how to play the accordion. And every day she made me practice for a half hour, and I just cried. Half hour every day. I'd close all the windows in the house so nobody would hear it. And I'd be like, roll out the barrel like, with just tears. It was.
You were a very sad polka gal.
It was.
Oh, I wish we learned the accordion.
Leah, do you have something on that?
Did anybody else learn to polka in gym class like I did?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. We had a dance.
remember that?
And
we-
square dance,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, remember square
we learned
dancing
square
a lot.
dancing.
And
which-
line dance.
Yes. Who does that anymore? I mean,
But
other
it's
than my great aunts and uncles who are all dead, because I know one of them was a
They
square
still
dance
polka
caller.
even though they're dead.
One of them was a square dance
When
caller.
we were down in Texas,
course.
last year, I think a lot of like fitness people also are line dance.
My grandpa line
Instructors.
danced.
I think it's like part of that whole like
That's how I got ladies.
I don't know, what do you call that? Texas Zumba? I don't know.
Maybe.
Well,
My grandpa could have instructed that
Texas
class.
Zumba. I like it. Texas Zumba.
But
At the Barron County Fairgrounds, once a year, they would have tractor square dancing, where they would have like 4 or 8 like tractors, and they would go through all of like the square dancing steps, and it was
Oh.
actually really pretty cool. But anyways.
Also, there is a whole festival, Pulaski Polka Days. It's
Yes.
a big
Oh,
deal.
Yep. That is a big deal.
Ugh. Yeah, if anyone gets a chance, like look at Discover Wisconsin. That's like the central location for all the eccentric, wonderful festivals in Wisconsin.
Yeah. So, one thing that they had on here is Wisconsinites know how to make a question confusing or no. That's something I never really thought of because
Do you want to come with or no?
I say it all the time. Exactly. Do you wanna go come to the store with me or no?
Yeah, no.
No? All right.
No, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, no.
No. Oh. All right.
Those are 2 separate things.
See, but to me, it totally makes sense because you're saying yeah to acknowledge what they said, and then you're answering.
Yeah.
Is
You
it
don't
one of our
get-
overly polite things that we do?
Also,
Maybe.
no, yeah is the same. Like,
Oh yeah. I
No,
grew up doing
yeah.
that, so I never think. Oh no. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing it now.
I was gonna
It's
say, I don't know if you ever did it that bad.
no. Because I was doing it as an example, and then it literally snuck in for real. And then I just stopped talking because I'm like, oh fuck.
That's how you usually talk, no?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But so is that Midwest or is that just Wisconsin?
I don't know.
I think it's our way of letting them opt out. Where it's like, would you like to do this or no?
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. No. I think we do.
Do you want to go to a movie with me or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's fine if you don't.
Maybe that has some like Scandinavian Nordic roots to it,
maybe.
you know?
I will invite our listeners, please, write to us. Let us know. You're in these other states. Some of you are over in Ireland. Tell us what it's like in Ireland.
What do y'all do? How do you let people have an out? Or don't you?
Do you want to do this?
Or no.
Oh, no.
Oh my god, I would love that. Hey, you want to go to the store with me? You better fucking come. Oh, anyway. All right. So I think that's kind of it for the Wisconsin-isms. Okay. Then, so we're going to get out of the pre-done Wisconsin-isms that we're finding online, and we're going to go to a list that just Amanda and our new associate producer / writer / helper Lisa helped out with. And we just brought up the things that make us really proud of being Wisconsin that just other states don't get. So number one, we have our dairy. So I remember as a kid, I'd watch like the show Step by Step. And there was that one dude that'd be like, it's the cheese state. And I'd be like, oh, embarrassed. Like, why are we known for cheese? And now that I'm older, I don't give a shit. Fuck yeah, we're known for cheese. Cheese is awesome.
You know, it's interesting with the variety of cheeses and ice creams and everything, but butter.
Ooh, yes.
And like the law of butter in Wisconsin.
Do you think that's why we have such a following in Ireland? Is because you
We love Irish
so
butter.
much?
That may be.
Like,
I do fucking love Irish butter.
Do you know the law? Like,
I've
it's
heard, but
fascinating.
please elaborate.
It
This
is.
makes me happy.
This law has been in place since 1895.
Yeah.
The serving of colored oleomargarine or margarine at a public eating place as a substitute for table butter is prohibited unless it is ordered by the customer.
Oh my. We're
Yep.
serious.
Oh, yeah. You don't fuck around with butter.
It's pretty crazy. And like that means public spaces, even like public cafeterias, like there has to be butter.
Yeah.
That's
I like
pretty,
it.
That's pretty intense because obviously there's definitely some health guidelines there. But violators can be fined up to between $100 and $500 and imprisoned up to 3 months.
Yes.
Wow. Could you imagine like being in the clink and they're like, what are you in for? I served margarine without permission.
I'd like to seek a career in enforcing this law.
Oh my gosh, yes.
No
Oh, like
kidding.
the CIA.
I'm sorry, did
butter department.
ma'am, did you order this margarine? Or did they just give it to you?
They just brought it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Point to the person who gave you this margarine.
Tell me now. Don't protect them.
Is it just Wisconsin that does dairy breakfasts?
Oh, I
As
don't.
far as I know.
Well, I think that's probably regional depending on like your specialty in your state.
Well, you know what? Please elaborate, though, on dairy breakfast so those who aren't familiar with it can hear.
Have all of us been to a dairy breakfast?
I've actually never been to a
Yeah.
dairy breakfast.
Oh, shut the front door.
No, I haven't.
It's the only time where you
Wait.
can have like...
Wait. Of all the people to tell Gary, shut the front door, you haven't done something. Courtney's going to try to come for you right now.
Yeah.
That's going to be your
New Poppin'
Gary.
Cherries.
This
Well,
is going to be your Poppin' Cherry.
This is going
We're
to be a
gonna take
Poppin'
you to
Cherry
the
episode, apparently.
Dairy breakfast. And let me tell you, Barron County dairy breakfast is like $5. They have the best scrambled eggs in the world. And I found out the secret. I'll tell you the secret
They
because
put
I
milk in
watched
it?
them.
It's not margarine, is it?
It definitely is not margarine.
No. They put in powdered chicken base.
Oh.
Oh.
It's to die for. Seriously. It sounds weird, but it's amazing. They have the best scrambled eggs.
I want to come
But they
too.
also- They
Yeah,
also
you can
pass
come.
out.
I don't, because I couldn't really answer because I don't know if I've been to one. I feel like I have because I think I went to one with like my grandma and grandpa once. But
Okay.
They're pretty common even
Let's
in,
just say you haven't, and we get to pop your
we'll
cherry.
pretend.
in Wisconsin
We
cities,
need
they're
to
pretty
do it.
popular too. It's not like
Yeah.
a completely rural thing.
So, I mean, I've totally gone to like flapjack breakfasts, but just
And they
I
also
don't think I've
have,
been to a
at
dairy
Barron County,
breakfast.
they have endless supply. There's just people going around passing out freshly made cheese curds
Nice. Can we
by
back,
like the vats.
Can we
It's
back up
amazing.
though? So, what exactly makes it a dairy breakfast? Because you elaborated on the eggs, and eggs aren't really dairy.
Well, what happens? Okay, so every county elects a farm,
Okay.
and that farm hosts the dairy breakfast.
Okay.
And so
it's a
I just
breakfast
want
at
to
the
paint
dairy.
the picture
So
that you're
that's-
going.
72 counties in the state of Wisconsin.
Okay.
So you go to somebody's house basically, and they pitch a tent in their yard. You
Oh my god! Because they
your
like having
vehicle.
guests. They're just like you walk into the yard and they're just like, I got a boner.
Exactly. Well, if you had their scrambled eggs, but you park in their hayfield, and I've never eaten breakfast so close to cow shit. It's amazing. Like you literally smell But
I think that needs to be a term in Wisconsin. I mean, how close to cow shit were you?
No kidding.
pretty damn close.
That's a good measurement.
No, yeah.
I'll tell you though, it's an experience. It's a good time. It's a good time.
But that's different from like if you just have a field that you rent out and they fertilized it because it smells like cow shit, and
you totally earn like Wisconsin street cred when you have been selected.
Oh yeah, that's
the
a
dairy
big deal.
breakfast farm.
They
'Cause
put
usually,
it
like,
all
the-
over in the papers.
The local radio station usually is
Yep.
there.
yeah,
Oh,
it's a
yes.
big deal.
I
It's a
don't know
big
how I've
to-do.
gone this whole time not knowing this.
Oh, it's a big deal.
yeah.
And you can buy like an ice cream sundae
See,
for
she's
like
gone. She
a
doesn't
nickel.
bring me.
I only went to like
Amazing.
one, and it was because there was like a fundraiser for my kid's daughter who had like a congenital heart disease.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I went with like with my dad.
Oh, that's fair.
I think dad.
Courtney, did you say ice cream sandwich for
fun.
breakfast?
Ice cream sundae.
No, ice cream sundae.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Could I have an
You
ice cream?
We
sandwich?
all know the ice cream sandwiches for the nighttime, Carl.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Says
is.
you.
And they also have like Clydesdales there. Speaking of sex, I don't know why that but they give out free wagon
Statuesque
rides.
horses.
I should be a spokesman for the dairy breakfast. I'm telling you.
You haven't
You
gotten to
should.
the dairy part yet. There's just some
It's
hot
at
horses.
a dairy. It's at the dairy. That's why it's a dairy breakfast.
There's lots of cows that shit like 10 feet away from you. It's great.
But is there a lot of
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
a-
dairy served though? Like
Well, there's milk.
Yes.
Milk? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like the
You-
beverage of choice.
okay.
And depending on which county you go to, you might have pancakes or
Mhm.
waffles or who knows.
Okay. No, I'm getting it now. But just when you first
I mean-
started, I literally thought everything on the menu is dairy based.
Well, a lot of
No.
it is. You put
No.
milk and butter in pretty much
Sure.
all of
no,
that.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Put milk
And
and butter
some
in you.
places, like
That's
the
true, too.
Hayward one, they make like fresh whipped cream for their pancakes.
Mm.
It's like a whole circuit. And it's like law that you cannot like all plan the same Saturday. Like you got to stagger it in the area
Yep.
Okay.
so you can make like the circuit.
Yeah, we have to pop some
We're
cherries and
doing
do
it.
this.
Barron County is the first Saturday in June. We're doing it.
Okay. Leah, have you ever
Uh-huh.
been to one?
What was
I-
that?
Yeah,
I
I believe
Oh,
so.
Leah.
I want to say I don't know if it was like considered a dairy breakfast. I want to say it was maybe put on by like a rural firehouse,
Oh, okay.
but it was in a barn.
Okay.
Sounds like a dairy breakfast to me.
Right. It sounds and feels very similar to everything that you're saying, and it was like pancakes and eggs and like all of the stuff, and it was like just big long tables inside of a open barn. But I want to say it was hosted by like a rural firehouse or something.
Okay.
Well,
Can
I
I
couldn't eat
have the
onions.
Wicker Biscuit people help me in a test quickly?
Sure.
Can I spell a word and then starting with Amanda, we go around the table and we say that word? It'll be the same word for everybody. But once I spell it, can we all just take a turn and say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I write
It's
it
a
down?
Wisconsin word that apparently we can't say correctly.
Oh, sure.
Okay, you ready, Amanda?
Yes.
B-A-G.
Bag.
Ryan?
Bag.
Bag.
No,
Oh, me. Bag.
And then Leah.
Bag.
And then I say bag.
Apparently we say it really like
How do we s-
ridiculously.
How do we say it?
We're more of a bag than a bag. I can't
Well,
even do
Because
it the
it's
way
not
bag.
because it's not a bag. I hate when people say bag.
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 Like I just physically
Bag.
can't even do it.
Yeah,
Like, it
it's
feels
a
like I'm gonna gag
bag.
on it.
I got a lot
Bag.
going on with my mouth. Bag. Are we goats?
Bag.
Bag.
Sheep.
Oh, sheeps.
Yeah.
Sheeps. Oh my god, Amanda.
Do you
I
remember
did
at
not know
Applefest
that
when I
was
kept
a
doing that?
thing until like 2 years ago. And
My-
somebody was like, "Oh, you can't be saying it like that." I'm
My
like,
stepsister and I got in an argument as children about it because she's like, "You say that funny," and I'm like, "How do you say it?" She's like, "Bag." I'm like, "No, you say it funny. It's bag."
It's big.
Big.
Well,
Right?
one of the people that I went to
Like,
school
you
with
old bag?
used to make fun of me how I said dad. Because she's like, you say like dad. And I'm like, I don't think I do. But I probably do sometimes.
My dad's cousins, apparently they were like whiny because the joke with them was always, "Dad!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the bag theory, though. That was good.
I think that's something to be said about Wisconsin. I think, in the TikTok era of things, I think Wisconsinites are pretty, like, we work hard, we know we play hard, but like we're pretty creative people too. I think that's what's pretty cool about it. And I think we have a variety of interests.
I want to
Like-
say I'm a Wisconsinite, and I avoid working hard or playing hard at all costs. So whatever.
But we're like not like
We need something to do when we're cooped up in the
Yeah.
normally cold winters.
like I don't think I know a lot of boring people from Wisconsin.
Oh, I do.
Really?
I don't.
I think you do. You're just
They're
being-
all
you're
characters.
You're just being nice.
Courtney, you're with me on this,
What?
right? There's no boring people in Wisconsin. They're just all
Oh,
characters.
hell no.
Yeah.
Well, there's boring people.
Uh-huh.
I've met them.
I smell what you're stepping in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
I've worked with some. I won't say where, but they're there. They know who they are. Okay, moving right along. For those who know, Wisconsin has a baseball team, the Milwaukee Brewers, and for a lot of us, their stadium, which was called Miller Park, which is now American Family Field or whatever
Yeah,
the hell it
that's
is. It will always be Miller Park. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, screw that. It's Miller Park.
But why are you so loyal to it? That's my curious
Because
question.
I am rigid in my thinking, and that is what it was called when I was little.
Well, the team's the Brewers. It's beer.
And now it's
Miller?
American Family Insurance.
Miller was like the number one beer there.
I want to give you a little more fuel for your argument.
Please do.
So when the Braves left
Mhm.
Milwaukee and moved to Atlanta, one of the most integral families about getting baseball back in Wisconsin was the Miller family.
Oh, see? There we go.
They also actually helped build the county stadium. So when we got the
Ooh.
Braves from Boston, plus they're the majority shareholder for the Packers. So the Miller family is actually huge
Yeah.
in Wisconsin sports. So that's part of it. I think for me, I think at least they should have named the grounds
Yeah,
around the
right,
the stadium Miller Park still, because I think that would have been a good honor,
Mhm.
right.
because like they contributed so much to that.
Right.
Otherwise you wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have baseball back in Wisconsin.
Right.
That'd be so
So-
sad.
But yeah, that's my reasoning. That's like more like it'd been nice.
Right. And, honestly, I didn't know the history of, like, the Miller family itself, but even that, going beyond Miller Brewing Company, yeah, absolutely. That, no duh.
Yeah.
It should, no duh. Yeah, it should.
Duh.
Yeah or no, right?
Yeah, no.
But actually that kind of went into your next section.
Yeah, the other thing I have on here is just the insane pride that comes with owning the Packers. I love it. I love that the city own, or the people own the Packers. It's the only NFL team that's publicly owned. And it's interesting because growing up seeing the Packers, I see things on other teams that just baffles me. Like, oh, this team's being traded over here. And I'm thinking to myself, why would they let that happen? Why would the fans let that happen? And then it's like, oh yeah, because some billionaire owns it, not the people. And it floors me, but it's so great. And I think it gives us such a deeper pride in our home team. And the fact that the stadium isn't called,
Yeah.
I don't know even what name it would be up in Green Bay. Named after some paper mill or something. I don't know.
Georgia Pacific.
But it's Lambeau Field, and it won't ever have a different name. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean,
It
things
could.
could change, but hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so I love that we own the Packers. And even though I don't specifically have a share, I know of people that do. So I feel like
It was cool that
by proxy, I kind of do.
during the playoff game, they interviewed that one family that was from Texas. And the dad was like so proud. It was pretty cool. It is cool when you walk in someone's house and they have the like stock certificate hanging on their wall.
My aunt does.
Yeah.
And that was actually what my brother, she left him.
Aww.
I got a doll from Spain and he got her Packers share, which was very sweet. But yeah. But she had a little t-shirt that said Packers shareholder. It was so cute. She was so proud of that.
It's a lot cuter with your doll eating your Spanish hamburgers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes. It is a nice doll. I don't know how she got it home, but it is a nice doll.
And then I'm going to flip the last two because I really want to go in depth on the one that's up next. But I take deep pride in some of the best sitcoms in the history of television having taken place here in Wisconsin. So I have a couple here listed. We've got Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Step by Step, and That 70s Show.
So then technically that 90s show.
Yeah, so technically
yeah.
that 90s show even. But it's such a wholesome place. It just makes sense to have your American, which I'm going to destroy with the next topic. But anyway.
That's why I was giggling.
There's also picket fences, like
Yeah,
I
very
forgot
short
about
run.
That show. That was such a good show.
you know, Rome, Wisconsin, with the background from Hazard County, Georgia, which obviously was Dukes of Hazzard, which
Mhm.
obviously was California.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
But,
Rome, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Where in Milwaukee, there's like a statue for the Fonz. And I've heard that Henry Winkler actually will come back and look at it and be like, "Hey, it's my statue." And I just love that that's in
I'm going to
Wisconsin.
pretend that that's it. He just says
Which,
that and then leaves.
Which
Wow.
which soap was down in
Young and the Restless
Yep.
still is.
yeah, Young and the Restless is still
In Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What?
Is
I didn't
it?
know that.
yeah.
I don't think that was one of my shows.
One time the Brewers were on it.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Ooh.
Because it was like Jeff Cirillo and JJ
Ugh.
Hardy, I think.
No. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
So,
crazy.
That's the era. Yeah.
Well, anybody else want to give out some things about sitcoms and fun Wisconsin sitcom memories? I know I mentioned earlier that there was the one dude in the show, Step by Step, who'd always be like, "We're from Wisconsin, the cheese state."
I
You talking about
remember
Cody? Yeah.
in
Okay.
Step by Step they said Green Bay and they said it really like they emphasized the
Green
wrong.
Bay?
Yes, and I was like,
Monica Geller says it that
Like
way.
it's a
What
question?
is that? And I was like, they're supposed to be from Wisconsin. Why can't they say Green Bay the right way?
Because when they're watching the football game, and she's like, "Oh, Phoebe, I didn't know you like Green Bay," or instead of saying Green Bay, she's like, Green Bay,
Yeah.
or Green Bay. Like, I don't know. It's just very weird.
Yeah, well, they said it wrong for a family that was supposed to live there.
Yeah, no kidding. And then that also just reminded me of A League of Their Own. Not a sitcom, but
Yeah. Well, it
these-
was a sitcom, actually. We were actually
oh, actually, you're right.
after. Yeah.
But even though it's not exclusive to Wisconsin, a good part of it takes place in Wisconsin
Yeah.
because you had the Racine,
Bells. Yeah.
which in the movie they pronounce Racine.
Of course. Yeah.
Which
Which
Carl
was-
Carl always complained to me about, and
It's
then when I
kind of a
went
mix.
down there,
It's a
a
mix.
bunch of people
Yeah.
he knew were like, "Blah blah Racine." I'm like, "See,
Yeah.
they say it that way too."
So it is a mix. Some people say Racine, some people
Yeah.
say Racine.
It's a French name, like a lot of places in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So.
Remember all the Wisconsin drama that happened when Titanic came out?
Oh,
yes.
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 I mean, that was a lovely humor for us, like up here, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
No, people were
Uh-huh.
pissed about it.
So for all those that don't know, for the listeners, if you remember back, Jack is his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and it was funny because the team that made Titanic was so tedious with their historical information being correct, but there's a scene where Jack talks about falling into Lake Wissota. Well, Lake Wissota is a man-made lake and didn't exist when he was alive.
They got so much flack for that.
It is pretty entertaining.
But yeah, I want to say like the year after, I think during the Pure Water days, Chippewa Falls actually had like a lookalike contest. And they tried to get him to come out, but Leonardo DiCaprio's like, "No, I'm a big movie star. Screw you guys."
So funny.
I love it.
I'm sure he said it just like
okay,
that.
he was probably nice about it, but this was when he was younger and he wasn't like dating people half his age. So.
Well, now we just need to get like a group of 25-year-olds. Well, no, they need to be younger than 25.
Well, just invite him to a dairy breakfast.
There
right.
you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I like where you're going with that.
Dairy breakfast indeed.
Come on, Leo.
All right,
all
Leo
the young
DiCaprio.
girls come out.
We're bringing you to the dairy breakfast. Any
Miss-
other Wisconsin movie
Yeah.
references, sitcom guys?
Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking the mayor from Buffy in About Schmidt says he's from Eau Claire, Wisconsin,
Yes.
and I almost crapped
I
my
forgot
pants.
about
like,
that.
oh,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And did he work at like a Foot Locker or
No,
something?
he-
trade home
he worked-
shoes.
He
No.
worked at a shoe
Yeah.
thing. We're like that. Like we decided it had to be Mason shoes just because. He's like, "Oh, I'm the owner of such and such shoes." Like, "Oh, well, it has to be a
It's so
Mason
funny.
shoe."
Yeah. No, I forgot about that
Mhm.
until you just referenced it. But yeah, Tommy Boy, even though it took place in Sandusky, Ohio, they drive
They
through
drive
Wisconsin quite a bit.
Yeah.
hmm
I think they show the
Wayne's
Oshkosh sign a
World.
couple times.
Chippewa Falls.
Yeah, Wayne's World, it took place in Illinois, but they
Come
go
on,
up to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee,
Yes.
if you will. It's always good to have Alice Cooper in Milwaukee.
Bridesmaids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounded Wisconsin as hell. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I didn't even try to do that.
I do that. I have like my Wisconsin-isms slip, and then I'm kind of embarrassed about them.
I have a hell of a time saying Minnesota without sounding totally Fargo.
I know.
It's terrible. Minnesota? Yeah? We're going to go to Minnesota?
I suppose Little House on the Prairie.
So
Yes,
you say
Little House on the Prairie.
say Minnesota, not Mini Pop.
Mini Pop? Oh, I get it. Oh, it took me a second. Oh,
It is funny that the state that
missed it.
has soda in the name calls soda pop. It is.
You know, one thing that nobody talked about, but our history of, and I say this in a good way, not a bad way, because, you know, whatever. But we also have a hell of a lot of like really good name breweries. We got Leinenkugel's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got
Spotted Cow.
Spotted Cow was on the list. Yeah.
My mom's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
and then
Spotted
isn't
Cow.
Miller?
What's the parent brewery? Though?
New Glarus.
New Glarus. Thank you.
Yeah.
Miller's?
Yeah.
My mom likes to
Potosi
call,
down there.
My mom likes to call Spotted Cow Speckled Heifer.
I like that.
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, for those out of the state, Spotted Cow is only in Wisconsin. Carl, you may know more about the rule, but they can't serve it out of state, right?
They
Correct.
can't
Sell it.
sell it out of state.
Yeah.
It's not they can't. They won't.
It's a personal.
They've created the whole. Yeah. No.
Okay.
It's
There's
just
actually
a treat for us.
Actually, it's funny because we had to transport Spotted Cow to a family reunion in Texas. I actually read a lot of state laws.
To make sure we could do it.
Did you pretend
make
you were
sure.
Smokey and the Bandit?
Oh my God, I was just thinking about that.
There's only 2 states that really govern this, and I'm shocked by this because you think beer, and then you think these states, and you're like, wow, Oregon
Okay. Yeah.
and Pennsylvania.
Oh.
But I wonder if it's to protect their industries
Probably.
because everywhere else it's kind of like, you got booze in the car. As long as it's closed, not accessible, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But those 2 states, you can only have so many volume like of alcohol.
But still, I now have this picture of you dressed up as Burt Reynolds with the booze in the car driving
Running.
down to Texas, and it's beautiful.
That's fantastic.
Beautiful. And Ryan, would you be willing to dress up like Sally Fields?
No, because her name's Sally Field.
I'm sorry, yes. Would you be willing to dress up like Sally Field?
Of course.
And then let's be boring.
But I'll be weird and I'll dress up as her as Miranda Hillard in Mrs. Doubtfire. That's what I'll be wearing.
Can we have the Firebird versus the RAV4? Because that wasn't that like sexy.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
I was thinking you would start out in a wedding dress and then slowly
I was
switch
hoping
to...
so, with the veil just fluttering.
Nope.
Okay.
It's Miranda Hillard or nothing.
I'll allow it. Yeah, any other movies or shows? No. Okay, we can move on to the number one topic.
I got one.
Oh, go ahead.
On the Facts of Life,
Mhm.
Mrs. Garrett was from Appleton, Wisconsin.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Which is why she's like the perfect mentor because she's from Wisconsin. Duh.
so that's a great segue into this. Shout out to other people from Wisconsin. So Tony Shalhoub, he was from Green Bay,
Yes.
and then and this pissed me off
The
when
monk guy?
Yeah.
He's from Green Bay.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I saw him.
There
I
was
walked
this kid
around.
that was bragging about he mowed lawns for a living, and he was bragging about mowing Tony Shalhoub's sister's lawn when we lived in Green Bay. And I'm like, ooh, Tony Shalhoub's sister, how awesome! But yeah, but then when Willem Dafoe was on SNL, they made reference because he was from Appleton.
Oh, okay.
And then they did that stupid sketch where like, you're not Wisconsin anymore. And he's like, oh, go down to the bubbler. And they're like, yep, here's your Wisconsin. It just pissed me off because it's like, we don't fucking talk like that. But anyway.
Kristen Johnston
Yeah.
from Third Rock from the Sun.
Bradley Whitford.
Bradley Whitford.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
Ooh, he was at Madison.
He was down in Madison
Mhm.
when we were down there for some
Mhm.
thing. Yeah. I forgot about that.
There's a lot of good
Chris
ones.
Farley.
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah,
Farley.
yeah, Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
Mhm.
Kathy Kinney, Mimi from Drew Carey Show.
Oh, yeah.
Also from Wisconsin.
Okay. Cool.
I had to look up her name.
So
no
even
offense.
though, still some references, maybe not the show itself taking place, but lots of,
A lot of actors.
Yeah.
A lot of, yeah.
I think it goes back to that Wisconsin creativity.
Sure
It
does.
is.
Sure does.
Speaking of
Henry
create,
Hooley.
What? Go ahead, Leah.
Henry Houdini.
Oh yes,
Yes,
yeah.
thank
I'm glad you
you.
popped that back in my mind. But yeah,
Yeah.
Because it had escaped.
it had escaped my mind.
Oh.
That tickles me.
Well, I'm glad it
Quite
didn't punch you in the stomach.
frequently.
He didn't really die from that.
I know.
Well, it still sucked.
It did. It did.
We do like some
Quite
tall
frequently,
tales.
you will have Larry the Cable Guy frequent Storona, Wisconsin at the
Yes.
Teddy Bear Tap.
Yep.
And he's notorious for every 4th of July, he accidentally lights a pontoon boat on fire, shooting off fireworks. His fireworks are amazing.
Yeah. He married somebody who lives in Wisconsin. So he's not
Yep.
from here, but he owns a
Right,
cabin up
but-
on Long Lake.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
I know some people that run into him. And you know what?
Actually,
They
my
always have really nice.
husband-
Oh, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Sold him a tractor when he worked at Tractor Central.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he worked with him in setting it up for his father-in-law at the time.
Cool.
So yeah.
I was just saying though, I'd never heard a bad story about Larry the Cable Guy. Everything
No,
I've
he's
heard.
very
about,
down to earth.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the state of Wisconsin welcomes him. Thanks for coming here, man. All right. Speaking.
Also, Liberace,
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
West Dallas. Yep.
Milwaukee.
Yep.
Nice. Wisconsin creativity. Oh, Betty White's husband.
Alan Ludden.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was from.
He's actually buried in Wisconsin.
Yeah, and they were talking about they were possibly
They're
going to
still-
bury Betty
Yep,
White here.
Still haven't decided yet.
No. So where is she just hanging out?
That's what people do. I mean, it's easy to do.
Did
now.
she get cremated?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
thank God.
okay.
Yeah.
She's
That's what
not
they do.
laying in
I mean,
state.
Yeah. I mean, the queen of television. She
I don't
should.
know. I read the book about
Right.
Ava
Yeah.
Perón and stuff, and that
Oh,
was
that
a
was
whole
weird.
hot mess.
Yeah,
So
That was
like,
weird.
poor Betty White, if that were what was
Mhm.
going on, she's
Yeah.
hanging out in a foreign country,
No, no,
like
no.
in someone's attic.
No, that was creepy.
Speaking of creepy.
Yeah, speaking
Ooh.
of creepy and back to also Wisconsin creativity, our next topic is one of our finest exports. Actually, we pretty much keep it in state, but serial killers.
We've got some good ones.
So I'd like
mean,
to just open this up
Also,
to,
just regular old killers, because
So-
some of the
yeah,
most recent ones, they didn't kill a lot, but
but
they really made it memorable.
so I think one that was thrown out by Lisa was Ed Gein, right?
Yeah.
That was her favorite.
Mm.
Well,
Can I
I
interrupt
don't
you
know
for
if we
one
should say
second?
favorite.
Oh, go ahead.
I have a serial killer 10-part mini-series documentary thing that's super cheaply made. It wasn't made by a network. It's just a cheap $5 DVD, but I love it. But the one guy who's the expert calls him Ed Gein, and I'm like,
Oh.
stop it. That's not his name.
It's like that dude on the Spanish one, Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah.
It's come on, man. Yeah, but Ed Gein. We also had Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, we all know about him.
And then what were some other ones? I'm drawing a
Well,
blank
our
here.
most recent one that Court really enjoyed and was fascinated by is incarcerated at Techita Women's Prison, Taylor Shabusiness.
Yeah,
I love her.
not technically.
I shouldn't say I love her. That sounds weird, but the whole story is
It's-
just
mm.
say what?
Yeah, no kidding. Not technically a serial killer, but definitely morbid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't,
Oh no! Is this the one on eastern side of the state?
Yes.
it was in
It was
Green
in
Bay.
Green
Yeah.
Bay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really heinous.
Yeah.
And yeah, so of course that happened in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I think that you know what the craziest thing about the Ed Gein thing for me,
Mhm.
not the craziest thing because I'm not the story itself,
Sure.
but being in the middle of farm country, in the middle of nowhere, and this happened is it's crazy, and
Isn't it actually a tourist destination now?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Leah, where you went to school, that part of the state, that's where my mom's moving from because
Yeah.
my mom lives in that area, the Greater Point area.
Yep.
And there is nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing out there. And I remember driving kind of back from my mom's one night, and I think I was actually heading back to where I grew up in Racine. And I was leaving, and it was dark, and there was no other cars on the road. And all of a sudden, this semi drives past me. It is this white semi, and it's just got black letters, and it just says Plainfield Trucking.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that was just a.
You're cute when you get fidgety.
But Ryan and I say a lot.
Walking around my property in my skin suit. You say that a lot. Also, interesting thing about Ed Gein. People like serial killer. And by some definitions, he would be, but he only killed 2 people.
Oh.
He was much more of a grave robber.
Mm.
Oh, sure.
So there was more than 2 body parts-ness, but he only killed 2 people. Not that that's better.
Well, actually, I can
How many
kinda respect
movies
it
were
more.
made or inspired by his story? Like,
I think because he crafted things out of human flesh is like the, I think that's where the driving storyline is.
Psycho, Deranged, in the Light of the Moon. Okay, so there's Psycho, Deranged, In the Light of the Moon, Ed Gein, The Butcher of Plainfield, Ed Gein the Musical.
oh god,
Rob Zombie, House of 1,000 Corpses, and the sequel, The Devil's Rejects. He was the inspiration for many fictional serial killers, most notably Leatherface, Norman Bates, Psycho, Buffalo Bill, The Silence of the Lamb, Garland Green, Con Air, and the character Dr. Oliver Thredson in the TV series American Horror Story Asylum.
The weird part about Ed Gein too, so he did all this weird stuff because his mother was very abusive and yada. But once he was in not treatment, but in an asylum, they were like, oh, he's great. He does all the carpentry work, and he's just this nice
he
old
went
man.
To Mendota Mental Health Institute,
which is the one in the state, right? For anyone that's criminally.
Yeah, well, there's Winnebago, but I think that's I don't know.
Wasn't
that's for
Silence of the
murder.
Lambs also?
I think that was thrown in there.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep. Yeah, he was the inspiration for the person from that.
Wait,
And
she
he
a great big fat person.
he inspired Slayer's song Dead Skin Mask. And he inspired an American grunge band, Tad, to write the song Nipple Belt.
I was just gonna say, is there a song called Nipple Belt? Because that's what
I
I
don't
would
know why
write.
that always tickles us so much.
Yes, it
belt
was from
of
their
Did he
next.
actually make
Yeah.
Yeah.
a belt out of nipples?
Yeah.
Well,
I did not
wouldn't
know
you?
that.
It's the perfect
I need to
accessory.
research more
I
into
still
this.
want to see the musical, Ed Gein the musical.
Yeah, what the hell would that be?
No, I'm just imagining the can with I don't know.
There was
Corpses in the
apparently
cemetery.
there's a German stage play in Germany. I mean, so he is wide reaching.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's wild.
There's the Ed Gein the musical trailer.
Looks like it came out in 2010.
That art is amazing.
Oh,
What do you for a musical?
Oh, that still gives me the creeps.
Ed Gein the musical.
How the hell is that a musical?
We will have to do a follow-up episode where we watch this and talk about it. Go ahead.
Please, let's
Awards. One win.
Oh, what
do.
award is
Sensing
that?
a Halloween episode.
It won the Gold Award at World Fest Houston.
Huh.
It does look like it was a satire, though.
Yeah.
Oh, so is
Yeah.
that kind of like The Producers? Was that the one?
It's like a horror satire. It looks like.
Ugh.
Huh. Interesting.
I think Ryan forgets how much I don't like that area of the state.
That's
These
fair.
days are
I think that might
ours.
that makes sense now. Like when I was growing up, I
You,
was
me and Ed Gein.
very afraid of being outside by myself because we lived in the country and it was super dark and we lived on a county highway. So I was always like, oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. Because I was convinced someone was gonna come out of the field and
Yeah.
murder me.
I think that's the thing. I think, old fairy tales, they talk about the forest being so scary.
No, it's a farm field.
Farm fields.
I don't know what when you're a little kid and everything scares you, and then you get a little older and the stuff you used to get oh, there's something in my closet. You don't worry about that as much. Why do I worry about that stuff now as I'm older? Because I would walk.
You've had more time to think about it.
I would walk to Gary's house in the dead ass middle of the night and just be like, that's fine. I wouldn't even think about it. Now I'd be like, oh, I don't know, there's gonna be someone outside. That was a little creepy.
Or my dad would drive you home.
Yeah, that's true.
I always tried to because Gary's parents would always be like, oh, I'll give you a ride home. And I'm like, no, I want to put my headphones on. I want to go for a walk.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I
Never
remember
walk.
that. Yeah, I was like, screw you guys. I'm going to walk. and that's cool. I dig it.
I was always afraid to walk by myself. I'm afraid of getting attacked.
Ooh, the time we walked home from Leah's house to my house after watching Blair Witch. That was a good time.
No, and that's the weird part. Like that movie itself, not super scary, but if you go outside afterwards and it's the middle of the night, it's terrifying.
I never watched
Just
that.
so you know, one of the Wicker Biscuit members is downstairs in their basement alone,
That's true.
filming in an 8x8 blanketed area in the dark.
Are you facing the corner?
You have
Yes.
Christmas lights.
Ooh.
It sounded like a
Christmas lights.
like this is like if there's a tornado and bad weather comes, please retreat to your 8x8 blanket fort in your basement.
Yes.
Courtney, is there a 55-gallon drum next to you?
Does it have lube or a body in it? Or
Let's
both?
hope for lube. It could be both.
You never know.
Or a nipple belt.
I was gonna say the nipple belt thing made me so happy.
I need to learn more about the nipple belt.
Okay, so I have like the 2003.
Because I can see it and I'm alone in my basement.
I don't know if there's pictures of it. I've never seen a picture of it, but there's the 2003.
Oh God.
That's not as exciting as I thought. I feel like his craftsmanship could be better.
That's really a nipple
I don't know.
belt,
I don't know
isn't
if
it?
that's.
But the pictures in the middle, is that the nipple belt?
I don't know.
I think so.
I'm by myself in my basement.
Don't look.
How did he make it? What did he use to craft it?
Nipples?
Well,
think
I
it's
know, but like, was it, does he have a sewing machine? What kind of like fasteners did he use?
Probably anything you would find on the farm.
404 Ford.
Oh,
MSG.
that's fair.
But that's, part of the...
Well,
Yeah.
I suppose
counting-
you're making a leather belt, but you're using the skin of the nipple.
Yeah.
well,
What about the nip of the skipple?
Mm-hmm.
no, I can't sew anything. I don't know why I'm even asking as though like I have any expertise. My mom made my sewing project.
Is it done?
And now you have to forfeit all your diplomas because you didn't really graduate.
Leah, were you not wanting to look at it either?
Correct.
Okay.
It's all done. It's done.
Can we cleanse our palate and I
Yes.
can say like a couple more famous people from Wisconsin?
Yeah.
That'd be
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Great.
Famous for positive.
And then look if you look on the
Mark
screen.
Ruffalo? Mark
Ooh,
Ruffalo?
I
Mark
love
Ruffalo's from
Mark
Wisconsin?
Ruffalo.
Who is that?
Ooh.
Remind me.
He's got one of the best Adam's apples in the business.
Oh,
Thank you
I-
very much.
13 going on 30.
I love him.
Oh.
And he's in Poor Things.
He's the Hulk.
Okay.
Just came out. Oh, sure. I don't do those
Right?
things, but yes. He's the Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah. In the
Okay.
Marvel.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah. Kenosha.
Okay.
Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a pretty good win for us.
That's
Mhm.
a very good win.
Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And where's the other one? I feel like there was one more. Oh, Bradley Whitford.
Yeah, we said that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one to mention again, though.
Yeah.
But J.J. Watt and his brothers are from Wisconsin.
Oh, Tony Romo.
Oh, yeah, Tony Romo.
Justin Vernon.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, Justin Vernon. Yep.
I
Well,
also want
he
to say that, like,
graduated
when
a
I
while after
did a
us,
little
though,
Google search
right?
of
Before.
like
Before.
famous people from Wisconsin, Wausau Daily Herald article came up titled like famous like central Wisconsin people, and the third most famous person from central Wisconsin, from Rudolph, Wisconsin, is Dick Trickle.
Oh,
Ah,
yes.
Mhm.
The old dick trick.
Yeah, the racer. Or the NASCAR.
I don't have any
NASCAR
idea who that
racer.
is. You guys know who that
He's
is?
a
Yeah,
race-
he was a
Yeah.
NASCAR racer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
raced a lot, all the series.
Okay.
Bob Wickman went to my high school.
Yeah.
Bob Wickman was a relief pitcher. He was really a
That's
good.
true.
He was
No,
a good
there's-
pitcher.
there's a lot of definitely major league players.
And one of my friends was his cousin.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, Bob Wickman, good
Oh.
guy. I don't know, whatever.
Well, that's a good thing to bring back around.
I definitely bought cheese in Rudolph, Wisconsin.
I don't know where that is.
It's where Dick Trickle's from.
Damn it! Do you think they have a sign? Do they have a sign, Leah? Buy cheese and talk about Dick.
Get all your needs met in Rudolph, Wisconsin.
Perfect. Oh, it's in Wood County. I say that as
Yeah,
well.
it's not that
means
far from
something.
Stevens Point.
Population 439. Ooh,
Was it-
Patsy's Barn Bowl.
Well, that's about all that's there.
There's not a lot there.
Is there
Shout
is,
out to Patsy's.
is there a stop and go area there?
We can only hope.
I'm thinking no.
Do you think Dick Trickle like just zooms right through there?
I think he's passed.
Yeah, I think he passed away a couple years
He
ago.
probably
Oh.
trickles.
Yeah.
Is he alive?
Well, actually,
Sorry,
if
Dick.
I remember right, he had a pretty tragic end, so we might
Yeah.
want to cut some of
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry,
fine.
Dick Trickle.
Sorry, Dick.
that. No worries. It's all right. You didn't know.
Does he have family? Are there other Trickles?
No,
I
he was
wonder
the
if
only
Trickle-
one.
It is pretty crazy. Alan Kulwicki was the last independent NASCAR driver to win the championship, and he was from like Greenfield, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but he died a year later in a like plane crash. Yeah, so
Oh,
That's too bad. But yeah, I remember in middle school not even really watching NASCAR, but thinking the name was hilarious. So I was like, yeah, Dick Trickle. So yeah, I
When I first
I
read
wish I
it, I
would've
thought
known
it
better.
said Dick Tickle,
oh yeah.
that's
which was equally as funny. So
All right, let's lighten the mood here. So, does anybody have any favorite Wisconsin vacations? See,
every single one of the state parks.
oh
yeah,
absolutely.
we were
Yeah, a
spoiled.
lot.
it is a beautiful state, and I have on here Amnicon Falls because that's my personal favorite. But you're right, we've got great state parks.
Our most visited is actually the shirt I'm wearing tonight is Devil's Lake
Mm-hmm.
down in where our capital is
Yeah.
in Dell's area too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I have here on Wisconsin Dells
Yeah.
too. It's like, why in the world would there be a spot in Wisconsin, which I know it's warm today, but typically is freezing cold most of the year, and they're like, hey, let's make this the water park capital of America. It makes no sense, but it just works.
Yeah, I think once you had the regular tourism in there, you're trying to think like, how can I, capitalize that
Yeah.
during the winter?
Yeah.
And it's a good, I mean, where the population is in the state, it's a pretty good,
Yeah.
accessible point.
Yeah.
It's kind of the middle.
Yeah, Wisconsin Dells. Shout out to Wisconsin Dells.
Yeah.
Awesome place.
Yeah.
We're actually going down there not too
End of February.
Yeah, we're gonna be staying at one of the water park. Well, and that's the thing. Now they're all freaking indoor water parks because
Yeah.
they wanted to run all year.
Yeah. I give a shout out to the eastern part of the state, though. Door County is awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
Door
yeah.
County is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love Peninsula State Park.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, and then like Two Rivers, Manitowoc area.
Algoma, Wisconsin is beautiful.
Yeah, those areas are good.
What was that one that we?
You know, I'm a Bayfield girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bayfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're on the side of two Great Lakes, so
Mhm.
like all that shoreline is just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Although Sheboygan's dicey. It's either super nice or meth.
Have any of you been to House on the Rock? Is that worth it?
Yes.
A
Oh,
trip?
it's awesome.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Actually,
Kinda wanna do
but
that this
in the
summer.
Sheboygan area. Shout out to this. It's the only place in the world where you can freshwater surf.
Yes.
There's
Oh.
a spot in Lake Michigan where it comes in and the waves are big enough where you can actually surf on them.
Yep.
And it is the only freshwater place in the world that you can surf.
So it's pretty cool.
No, there's a lot of unique areas there.
It
And
is
a lot of
beautiful.
history. A lot of history in a lot of places.
Yeah.
I mean, where I grew up, a lot of industry, you
Yeah.
know.
Can't you tour the Kohler place and look at their toilets?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they have a museum.
Yeah.
So, bathroom enthusiasts.
Bet you they got some bubblers too.
I bet they do. And I
Mm.
bet it's wonderful. And I bet that they will not think I'm weird for calling them bubbler.
Well,
no,
they
'cause
will think
they will call them
you're a
bubblers.
weirdo.
Maybe. What was that state park that we stayed at? It's like,
Oh, the one that's like on the border of Minnesota?
well, it was actually really cool. Like Wisconsin and Minnesota kind of teamed
Oh,
up. It's
it's
like right on the St. Croix
interstate.
River.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like there's the Minnesota side of the state park and there's the Wisconsin side.
We
of the
should
state
do
park.
we should do that
There's
this year.
Patterson Park somewhere in there.
Oh God, Patterson's awesome.
But interstate, they've got a paddle wheel boat.
Because
that
that's on the
goes
St.
in,
Croix River, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think the one thing I want to say, just because it's Wisconsin wonderful
Yeah.
history,
Let's do it.
the night of the Chicago fire,
Mm-hmm.
the Peshtigo fire.
Right. Even bigger than the Chicago fire. Somehow, even though they were not started, happened right at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
is
did not
crazy.
hear about this.
You
Can
don't
you
know
I don't know
tell
about the
a little bit
Peshtigo
about it?
fire.
No.
Oh.
I don't know either.
Oh. Well, I think I grew up near there.
Yeah.
Like, we were
Well,
very
we
close
learned
to
about
Peshtigo.
fire.
As much as I hate serial killers, I hate the look of fire. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Nope, no Peshtigo fire.
There is some theory on like weather pattern that hit, but they're not quite,
Yeah, there was no Lady O'Leary though,
no,
right?
no, at least
No.
not in Chicago.
Oh, so that's even fake in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
dang.
Courtney, the Peshtigo fire was a large forest fire in 1871 in Peshtigo. So that's in northeast Wisconsin, but it included a lot of the southern half of the Door Peninsula and other parts of Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Wow.
But Peshtigo was the largest community that was affected. So the fire burned about 1.2 million acres and was the deadliest wildfire in recorded history, with the number of deaths estimated between 1,500 and 2,500.
Wow.
So yeah, like they don't know the exact number of deaths. There were like mass graves and stuff.
Oh, wow.
But the cause was small embers from slash and burn agriculture caught up in drafts from unusually high winds during a period of extremely dry, drought-like conditions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it was a huge fire that like no one really knew about Peshtigo when the Chicago fire happened. So
right, all the newspapers were covering the Chicago fire.
Yeah.
Wow.
So following the fire, it took days for help to arrive. By the time the word got to Madison, most of the officials and their aide were going to Chicago.
Yeah, that's too bad.
And Peshtigo's a really nice little town.
Peshtigo is a nice town. I had a nice meal in Peshtigo with Amanda's dad. It was wonderful.
Yeah,
it was like a German
supper club.
It was a German themed supper club, no less, and it was very good.
Them damn fibs.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think the one last thing, just because we're talking about Wisconsin, just a shout out to the tribal nations of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the
community and the culture of Wisconsin, it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
It's really a special place we live in.
Just this last week, I think this is a little bit old news, but it was on PBS and I didn't know about it, but there was a lake that was named like Squaw Lake and it got renamed.
The federal ones that was changed.
Yeah. And we talked earlier in this podcast about that up by Courtney there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rice Lake.
Yeah.
And I felt terrible because I didn't realize like how offensive the name was.
Yeah.
So then when I learned that, I'm like, oh God, I'm glad I know. And thank you PBS for covering that.
Well, in a place in Wisconsin where you have so many communities that are named.
What's the new name of that lake? Do we know?
Pussy Lake.
I don't know. I don't think it's that.
I would love it if it was Pussy Lake.
But I think that a lot of the cool city names that we have that people say, in the TikToks, how funny they are pronounced and stuff. It's beautiful. It's part of who we are in Wisconsin.
Shout out to them for renaming that lake. You okay, Courtney? Courtney?
Oh my God!
She's still laughing at Pussy Lake.
You're still laughing at Pussy Lake.
God, I thought you were having a medical emergency.
No.
Okay.
Oh my God! Just please. Oh my God!
It's now called Amber Lake.
Amber.
Thank you.
Courtney, next time you gotta let me know if you're having a medical emergency, if you're just laughing.
Oh my
man,
God!
Don't tell her about twat flaps flowage.
Oh.
Oh, the Green Bay Gazette had all the changes.
Is it the Press Gazette? The Green Bay Press Gazette?
Yep.
Yeah, that's our hometown newspaper. I used to read the comics in there every week.
Who wants to dive into some biscuits? All right, on that note, we will take a break and we'll be back for biscuits. All right, we're back. Now, before we go into our biscuit basket, I want to just give a shout out to our listeners. Thank you guys for listening. Our downloads have gone through the roof recently, and I've noticed our fourth largest market right now, of all places, is Ireland.
Ooh.
So shout out to Ireland. Thanks for listening, guys. I don't know if anybody told you, but at least according to Ancestry.com, I'm 60% Irish. So there's a little bit of argument about how much Irish there is there between the families, but 60%. So thank you.
And we love your butter.
Oh God, we love Irish butter.
That when we have a buttered biscuit, it's Irish butter.
It is Irish butter.
Thanks, Ireland.
So thank you guys.
Definitely not margarine.
But all those other
not.
regions and countries, I mean, if you want to start a little competition, step up your game, we'll take it. We'll take
And let
it.
us know what kind of butter you've got.
But that's the kind of thing you're going to get. If all of a sudden I see somewhere else coming up, I'm going to give a shout out to you guys. So, also big shout out. We did have our first listener submitted topic. Loretta G had submitted that she wants us to do a topic on funny police. What's the
Police blotters?
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
nice.
side note, we already had that as something written down, but that actually reinforces that there was a good topic idea.
What about
Thanks.
funny getting pulled over stories too? Because I got a couple of those.
Well, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But thank you guys. Thank you guys for actually shouting back. We appreciate it. And on that note, how about we dive into some biscuits? Ooh. So, Amanda, can we start with you?
Sure. So I have a buttered biscuit. It's not really all that exciting, but I ordered some cards that are thank you cards because I love thank you cards and sending letters. And I'm going to write a letter to Dr. my colorectal surgeon, and I had to get the perfect thank you card, so I got him one from Etsy that says I've got to say thanks, and it has a picture of the intestines, and I hope that he likes it, because there's nothing I love more than a punny card. And I'm going to send him a picture of his namesake, Ruggles the dog.
Aww.
You're not gonna send a picture of your intestines?
I love it.
What?
Can you say that again, Leah?
You're not going to send a picture of your intestines?
Well, I could send him a picture of my stoma. I did send several pictures of my stoma recently to about 3 different providers at Mayo Clinic. So they have several photos of that. And I guess also a biscuit would be that the stoma nurse was very helpful today. And she does not think that my stoma looks awful. It looks
Hooray.
different.
Yay.
But apparently stomas come in all shapes and sizes.
Your
Mine's-
stoma's always been beautiful to me, Amanda.
Well, thanks. It's definitely weird now, though. So we'll work on it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Rye Pie, do you have any biscuits for my ears?
Ooh, I just pictured you like with Princess Leia, but they're biscuits.
Now he's confused.
I think we need to make a picture of that. I have a buttered biscuit,
Oh, yeah?
and it's that tomorrow evening I'm going to Azul Tequila to eat delicious Mexican food with my mother and my boyfriend.
Ooh.
Do I get to come too?
That's you, silly.
Oh, okay.
Ooh la la.
Not a huge biscuit, but it's what I came up with.
That's a good biscuit. No. I love Azul Tequila.
Ryan's earned it this week. I've gotten to come home to some pretty cool meals.
Not tonight.
Yeah. work
Actually,
week. So that was pretty nice.
not to steal Courtney's thunder, because it is her thunder, but she's got a gift to give you eventually, and Azul Tequila plays a role in that gift.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it a
So-
picture of Poppy? We have
Well-
nicknames for the waiters, and
Oh,
Poppy is
yeah.
just very, very attractive.
Hi,
man.
Poppy.
And he always likes to smile at us. And it's like, I love him.
I like it.
Aye, aye, Poppy.
Carl?
I'm gonna make a pan of biscuits. I just want to say thank you to all of my friends that are listening, and all the friends in this room and on this pod. It's been a wild month helping my mom move, and I am drained emotionally, physically, and y'all are just keeping me going. So
Aw.
I appreciate it. And like, no one's like trying to over make everything like roses. Everyone's just kind of being very supportive though, so it's really nice. So thanks.
You bet. Courtney?
Well, I have 2 biscuits. I have one that is very well buttered with Irish butter, of course. First of all, this is my first time recording from what I am just going to be calling the Wicker Warehouse.
Yeah.
It has wicker in it. It's a little recording studio that Gary helped me kind of put together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been kind of fun. It's kind of cozy. It's nice. I like it.
I gotta say, because we recorded the very first episode of Courtney and Gary's Poppin' Cherries in that studio, and the audio came out great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got the Biscuit Bakery and the Wicker Warehouse now. So I'm really excited about that. And I have a burnt biscuit. Actually, it's my husband's burnt biscuit.
Yeah.
So let's say 3 weeks ago now already, my husband, and he's going to love that I'm telling you all this, but I know that, the Wicker Biscuit people will never tell anybody outside
Right.
of this room, right?
Right.
But a few weeks ago, my husband, he started having really bad tummy like pains. And what makes this horribly funny, I am such a bad person.
First of all, Brandy didn't fix it.
No. So he said his stomach really hurt, and and I'm like, oh, well, maybe you just need to have a good poop. He's like, well, I haven't pooped in 3 days. So I spent a week giving him stool softeners, and I was like so close to getting him some magnesium citrate just to get him to take a big healthy shit. Now, one night he woke up and he's just writhing in pain, like unbelievable pain. He can't sit down. He can't lay down. He's just pacing the house. And I'm like, great. You have a blockage. We got to do something about this. So he's in so much pain. I take him to the ER in the middle of the night and I'm like, yep, I'm sure you're blocked. This isn't good. Your intestines are just dying. They're all twisted. And I just have this big thing planned out in my head. So after a week of trying to make him shit, I found out he has a kidney stone.
Oh, no.
I was feeding him stool softeners for no reason whatsoever. So not only is he like shitting,
well, I mean,
he has a kidney stone.
That's healthy and good.
Now,
Right?
being it's
So
at
he's
your
like,
oh, go ahead.
just giving me the stink eye like this whole time. You said I was full of shit. Well, anyways, we've named the kidney stone Guadalupe, and she was supposed to be birthed today. However, they began the surgery, and after about 15 minutes of surgery, I get a message from the Mayo little health app thing that says the surgery is now closed. And I'm like, well, it's going to take about an hour to remove this kidney stone. So I'm like, 15 minutes? Something's not right. And I'm starting to panic. The surgeon brings me back and he says, I just want you to know we weren't able to retrieve it. It's got to go back after another week and they're going to try again.
Oh my goodness.
So Guadalupe is still...
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
It was too big or is too embedded?
Didn't you say it was 5 millimeters?
Yeah, it's 5 millimeters big. And
that feels big. Yeah.
Can't they do the thing where it breaks it up?
Well, we asked about that. I've asked 2 different people. I'm like, I know that there's this machine that can kind of pulverize it. And I was told both times we don't have access to that equipment. What happens is occasionally we can borrow it from
oh my God.
Minnesota, from the cities, but we can't borrow it anytime soon. So yeah,
that's garbage,
right? So it's stuck at the top of right at the base of the kidney, and it hasn't came down, and they can't reach it, and yeah.
Is it blocking something? Because I have a kidney stone that apparently they're just oh, it's just hanging out the bottom of your kidney, just gonna stay there. And I was like, oh. Cool.
I don't know, but they said that basically they tried to go up into the tube from the bladder to the kidney, and they said it's too narrow, it's too inflamed.
Oh.
So they couldn't get up into the kidney.
Are they giving him some Flomax?
Oh yeah, he's been on that for about 2-3 weeks.
Oh geez,
already.
From Courtney's colon blow to Flomax.
Oh, he was so mad.
Gotta keep that stuff
now,
opened up.
What ordeal?
When you have him occupied on the toilet, is he at least kind enough to print obituaries from the toilet?
No, he does not have the courtesy.
Oh.
No.
Jeez.
But, so hopefully next week when they try it again.
Oh, that's horrible. Are they giving him some good pain meds at least to manage?
He's on a couple of them.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but he usually doesn't like to take anything.
Well, he should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to just take one.
That's awful.
Yeah.
But at least we've got him off the stool softener now, so
that's good.
He's appreciating that.
Well, some of those pain meds can
constipate you.
Yeah. Yeah. Right?
But and then it's weeks of recovery after removal too. So I mean, he's not even. He's still at the beginning of all this.
Yeah.
Right. And right now they put a stent in.
Ooh, that sucks.
So he's dealing with the uncomfortableness of that too.
That's really uncomfortable.
Oh man. Well, My heart goes out to you, Courtney, and your family, and I feel for you.
And I had to like tell him the whole story. So my stupid mind like goes right to one of my vices is watching the Hank Hill, whatever, what's that called? King of the Hill. And I'm like, you have a narrow urethra. He's like, shut up. But I still love you, Lyle. Even though he has a narrow urethra.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Any more? I mean, from you,
No,
Courtney.
I've done enough.
Perfect. Let's hand this off to Leah then.
I forgot what mine was. So I've been on a couple dates with someone who I find quite fetching, and it's going nice, and it's cute, and I like it. That's
wonderful.
I love describing somebody as fetching, so I applaud that. That's a great adjective.
We went on a date to an arcade bar, which was quite loud and not super good, but kind of fun for the games and the I almost said ping pong. No, the pinball. There we go.
Pinball. I like pinball. I also really like some good air hockey. That's another one of my go-tos.
I don't know that I saw fucking air hockey there, or like it was like it wasn't like live like physical air hockey. It was like robot screen air hockey.
Oh, interesting.
And like I don't know, it didn't trip my trigger because I do also like some air hockey. I tried to convince when my friend Tiffany was moving a couple summers ago, they have this big room in their basement, and I was trying to convince them to put something cool in it, like an air hockey table, and I kept finding stuff on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, ooh, a shuffleboard table for $10. It's huge. It'll take up half the room.
Shuffleboard, it is big.
I found it for you. And I bring it, and she's like, no. I'd be like, I found an air hockey table. It also converts into a foosball table. Can I bring it to your house? She's like, no.
Can you give it to their children for a gift?
I mean, should.
Then they can't say no. And be like, it's not yours
It's
to
not
say.
for you. Don't be like that.
Just remind them it's for the people.
Table in my house.
It's for the people.
Yes, though.
It's for the people who reside here.
Want to play some shuffleboard?
Yeah. I'm just saying that phrase will get you far in life. If somebody's arguing with you, be like, hey, it's for the people.
Great.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, that leaves me, so I'll go into my biscuit. My biscuit is the last couple weeks I've been going over to hang out with Courtney, help her with her studio, do some stuff, but we've been going to bingo. So I've been getting lots of bingo in, and I've been eating popcorn and drinking Diet Coke and dabbing with the best of them. And Courtney can... she can attest to this, that I've got weird rituals with how I dab them. If we're doing
oh my gosh.
If we're doing a pattern and there's a number that gets called, I have to dab it, even though it won't count in that pattern or that round that we're doing, because it's like the four corners or the stamp or whatever. So it's in a spot where it doesn't count. I don't care. I have to dab it, but I need it to be separate. So I dab it with just the corner. And Courtney laughs at me every time. And
the first time it had to be a different color.
Yeah,
you had a color scheme.
I scaled back. The first time I actually had two. I was double fisting it. And if it was a legit possible win, I would dab it with my blue. And if it wasn't, it was the orange one. And
that seems very involved.
It got too crazy, so I started just doing just the corner. But
just
it brought me joy, and I'll do anything just to make Courtney giggle. So I took it as a win, and that was my buttered biscuit. I got to play some bingo and make Courtney chuckle. Now,
it was good times.
You actually did win one round, didn't you?
Yeah, I won $10.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
How much does it cost to play bingo?
Like 20 something?
Oh my gosh.
No, it's 15.
Why
15?
are you not bringing me home more money?
I don't win shit.
Well, you better get on it.
But
it's a tough game.
We're going to be extending. First of all, Courtney and I will be going more. It's Sunday nights.
I want Brian and Carl and Amanda, and I want everybody to come.
Have you met Ryan LeMay?
I'm an old bastard, and I like the bingo where you slide the little windows.
Oh, yeah. My church used to have that.
Because that way, when it's the pattern, you can block out the ones you don't need, and then they're already done. You don't have to worry about it, and you don't even have to look at them. You just look for the ones that you have.
He's also a tough customer on a Sunday night.
I want you to
That's
show up with
also
your own
true.
board and see what they do.
Well, they're
Ooh.
intense
He
there.
can tune you in on his system.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
It's for
for
the
someone
people.
who doesn't even like to have pens in their office,
Mm-hmm.
for you to have multiple colors of the dauber things,
In all fairness, I don't. Courtney brings them.
I want to have
But
his
for you to
nickname be
utilize them-
Dobbs from now on.
that's ridiculous.
It is.
Tiffany and I went to bingo at a bar down here in Madison, and it was close to 4th of July, so you don't have to pay anything to play, or maybe it was like $2 or $5. It was cheap. And I won, and so I think it was like you get a free drink because it was at a bar, and then I won a DVD copy of the movie 300.
And no,
Ooh.
this is a good story.
So fancy.
And also some fireworks, including the snakes. And then we went home and I made some paper planes and we lit the snakes on the plane, so they were snakes on a plane.
Nice.
And then didn't you end up with the movie?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So it was a very
It's just
fruitful
a gift.
enterprise.
She's like, I won this playing bingo. And so when she started telling the story just now, I was like, I wonder if that's when she won that movie.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I do
What a
secretly
gift.
love that it's just Gary and I sitting alone at a table, and all of the little old biddies, they know me from being there. I have a few family members that frequent the joint, so a lot of them recognize me, and I can just see them like, who is that? Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know,
Weird
like
guy
it's
with long hair.
scandalous. I love it.
Did we play bingo when y'all got married? Is that when we went to Oneida?
I didn't.
We went, just
We went.
you and me.
Oh.
And it was not, I don't think their wedding.
Oh.
It was after a wedding, though.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I've the only time I've ever been to the Oneida was for a wedding reception. Otherwise, I've only been there that one time.
It was a culture shock when you've been used to for like over a decade of not having people smoke in public places to walk into a place and
yeah.
be like,
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely.
It was really great because it was the old fashioned like banquet tables, but you're separated by an aisle.
Mm-hmm.
That's where
on
smoking.
that side, no smoking on this side. It
Nice.
was like I was in the
Keeping
80s.
it classy.
Indeed.
That was the first time I ever experienced the fact that there are different shapes for bingo.
Oh.
Because they were like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is an airplane. Or this round is airplane. I'm like, what does that even
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
It's not just the
Yeah, there's what was there? Crazy Kite, Snowflake,
Yeah, 6-pack.
six pack.
It's way more than
What
I've
I
ever
call
heard.
the rim job, which is just a large picture frame.
See, we just call that one picture frame at my grandma's place that she bingos at.
Yeah.
Picture
Mhm.
frame, postage stamp.
But
We have
you're
a
all-
turtle.
I'll keep you posted for when we go, and you're all invited.
Like it if we all wore trashy t-shirts.
Yeah.
Like mine will be like Gary's broad.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You know,
Gary.
I am so close to going. I actually have already looked on the Facebook Marketplace. I'm trying to find a cricket because I want to make us all homemade t-shirts.
Did
They
they
have a
say-
silhouette. Key.
Didn't they say on Thursday it's in? So we could actually meet halfway.
Yeah.
It's not quite halfway, but I don't know. Just food for thought. On that, I think we're done, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Huh?
So with that, we say
Lots of
goodnight.
water.
Drink your water. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. Thank you for listening to Wicker Biscuit, a Podcast Ahoy production. The producers of Wicker Biscuit are Ryan LeMay, Gary Putnam, and Courtney Holub. Executive producer is Gary Putnam. Recording and editing was done by Gary Putnam. Check out our social media for updates on upcoming pods and for clips and other media referenced in this episode. Because sharing is caring, the links can be found in the episode note. Check it out! Thanks again from everyone at the Wicker Biscuit family.